Hi y'all, this is Larry at Deep South Texas. It's March the 10th, 2023, and the garden is just doing wonderful. So the last time we looked at the garden was 2 weeks ago, and we just had our first tomato flowers showing up. Now, virtually all my tomatoes are in flower, and mini tomatoes have little tomatoes just starting to grow. So very excited about that. Let's take a closer look. So here's one raised bed of tomatoes. The tomato that was flowering 2 weeks ago was this Cherokee purple, and it's got flowers all over it now. And in fact, there's some tomatoes already growing on this plant. But virtually all of the tomatoes are now flowering. And I don't know, they're about 3 feet tall, I think. Now, one of the things I do, in the late morning, is I take my electric toothbrush and come down and give each of the flowers just a little shake. Just to help ease that pollen out and pollinate those flowers. It may not be necessary here in Deep South Texas because we get so much wind, but if you're in a greenhouse or a high tunnel, it might be a real help. Anyway, I do that every morning about 10 o'clock. It takes about 10 minutes, so I think it helps. It makes me feel like I'm doing something anyway to help those tomatoes out. Here are the celebrity tomatoes. Lots of flowers and lots of little tomatoes coming on here as well. So, pretty happy about that. And this bed has beefsteak tomatoes, and they're growing real well, and they are just full of flowers. And the peppers that I have mainly in the barrels, they're doing well. They're growing every day and putting on flowers, but I haven't seen a lot of peppers yet except on my cayenne. So there's a couple pretty nice peppers on the cayenne plant. I haven't seen any on the Anaheim yet. But there are lots of flowers, so it won't be long. And the Sugar Rush peach, it's just full of flowers. And I think we got some peppers starting here, but they're too small to show up in the camera yet. And the Carolina Reapers, they're growing well. Not too many flowers on these yet, but it won't be long. The onions continue to look good. The ones I planted from seed are still doing a little bit better than the starts we bought at the store, but they're starting to catch up, and in a couple more weeks we probably won't even notice the difference with them. Gonna have onions this year. The onion bulbs that I saved from last year and planted to grow seeds, gotten about a half a dozen seed heads off of them so far, and a couple more coming on. So that seems like it was successful. The pink-eyed purple hull peas I have growing in these barrels. They're looking pretty good. The last couple barrels, I don't know, not so much, but these up here are doing great. I don't know if these two barrels get too much water or what the problem is, but we're going to have peas anyway. And these are the Red Ripper peas. I got some seeds from Deep South Homestead last fall, and I planted some and grew them out to get more seeds, and they're doing well. I think 2 weeks ago, in my last video, these maybe a couple of them had just started to peek up above the ground, but now they're looking good. They've pretty much surpassed the pink-eyed purple hulls and are growing well. Looking forward to a bumper harvest of these this year. The Moringa trees that I cut down in December, they're coming back just fine. I've been trying to weed around the trees. I got about half of it done. I still have some more weeding to do down here, but we're going to get a nice harvest of moringa this year. So here are the moringa trees that I planted cuttings from last summer, and they're doing well. They need to get in the ground. So I'll probably plant one of them right here in with the banana trees, and a couple more over along that fence line where the other moringas are. Some of those over there aren't doing that well, and I need to replace them. I have one other moringa tree planted in here with the garden, and it's doing great. I think they get a little bit more water over here and grow a little bit better, a little faster. The banana trees have all put up a bunch of pups. I need to get those thinned down to just one. So one in each spot, so I'll have 3 banana trees again this year. And I need to do that. And hopefully we'll have more nice bananas this year. And in this bed, along with the eggplant, I put in a trellis and planted some green pole beans here. And they're starting to climb up the trellis. Looking good. And I have elephant garlic growing in this barrel. It's looking okay. And in this bed over here, I've got some leeks. These are actually last year's leeks, and they're growing well again this year. And we got some that are ready to harvest now. The potatoes didn't come up that great, but we have some potato plants growing. Not a lot. We're going to get some potatoes, but not as many as I had hoped. I had some volunteer cantaloupe coming up over in the barrels with the beans, and dug them up and moved them over here. We got a couple groups growing, one in this bed with the potatoes that didn't do too well, and another in that bed over there, so we'll see how they do. My wife came out yesterday and harvested the cabbage, and she left the leaves here. I got to get those in the compost. I started a couple sweet potatoes I put in the ground to grow slips, and these are the ones that I've been growing for years now. And then I stuck one purple one in over here. I don't know if that one's going to grow at all, but we'll see. Anyway, we'll get some sweet potatoes planted this year. Probably only do a half a bed this year. And this bed has the speckled butter beans in it. I think 2 weeks ago we just started seeing some of them pop their heads up, and now, you know, they're a good 6 to 8 inches tall, growing well. Hope to harvest a bunch of these this year. These are like lima beans, except I think that they're, no, not, I don't think, they're red and sort of speckled. They're really pretty beans. And I have summer squash and zucchini growing in several barrels around both gardens, and they all look to be doing well. No sign of squash borers yet. And one of the things I'm most excited about 5 days ago, I planted this bed with wheat, and hadn't seen anything. And then this morning when I came out, I had wheat sprouting up all throughout this bed. So pretty happy about that, excited. I tried growing some wheat last year. I used some really old wheat seed, and they didn't germinate. But so I went out and bought some for this year, and they're coming up. We're going to see how this is going to do. From what I've seen on other YouTube videos, one raised bed of wheat will probably grow enough for a half a loaf of bread, but we're going to find out. It seems like something we ought to be able to know how to do, even if we're not going to use it as our main source of flour. So I planted that wheat in the bed where I had my first crop of carrots growing. Those carrots in that bed didn't do very well. I think probably because they weren't getting enough water. I'm not sure. But this is my second bed of carrots, and they're looking really nice. And I have one cucumber plant growing up the trellis. I didn't get a very good yield from the cucumber seeds that I started earlier in the year, so I've planted some more along this trellis, and they're just coming up now. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video of my garden here on March 10th, 2023. Everything is growing well and looking good. Expect continued success in the garden until it gets a little bit hotter, and things don't look so good when it gets really hot down here. But right now we're looking good through the month of March, and through April we should still continue to see just wonderful growth here at Deep South Texas. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it that thumbs up. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next time.